They are approaching you with a promise that looks like destiny, but heaven is trying to reach you before you answer. Still your mind for a moment. Breathe, listen. This message found you because something in your spirit called it forward. This is not random, not accidental, not coincidental. There is a reason your chest tightened when you saw this. There is a reason your intuition refused to look away. God is trying to show you something before you step into something. You are standing in front of a decision that looks like joy, but God is whispering, slow down. Look again. There is a ring coming. A question coming. A gesture that looks like the end of waiting. On the surface, it feels like answered prayers. It feels like relief. It feels like the moment everything you carried finally has a purpose. It feels like, this is it. Finally. But when heaven wants to protect you, it speaks first through discomfort. Before blessings arrive, God tests the foundation. Before love is confirmed, discernment is demanded. Do not confuse excitement with alignment. Do not confuse ceremony with covenant. Do not confuse promises with preparation. Pause, stay. Do not rush away from these words. Something massive is shifting around you, right now. Your emotions are loud, yes. The desires of your heart are real, yes. But what you feel, and what God sees, are not always the same. You are looking at the moment, God is looking at the lifetime. You are looking at the ring, God is looking at the roots. You are looking at the promise, God is looking at the proof. If this is from God, there will be peace. Not performance. Not pressure. Not panic disguised as passion. If someone is sent for your future, their intentions will match their affection. Their commitment will match their claims. Their actions will match their words. A ring alone does not validate character. A proposal alone does not equal readiness. A promise alone does not guarantee partnership. Ask yourself with gentleness, not fear, do I feel safe here, or do I feel scared to lose this? One is peace. The other is attachment. One is alignment. The other is emotional debt. One is God. The other is survival instinct dressed up as devotion. Excitement fades. Peace stays. Remember that. Before you accept any ring, hear this: God does not require you to abandon clarity in order to be loved. God does not ask you to silence your intuition in order to be chosen. God does not demand the sacrifice of your peace in exchange for companionship. If saying yes feels like you are betraying yourself, it is not a yes, it is a warning. Pay attention to the small things. When you ask questions, do they answer or avoid? When you express needs, do they honor or dismiss? When you set a boundary, do they respect or negotiate against it? These moments are not accidents, they are previews. Marriage does not build character, it exposes it. Commitment does not erase patterns, it amplifies them. A ring is not a reset button, it is a magnifying glass. If God is making you pause right now, it is not rejection, it is redirection. This is not punishment, it is protection. You prayed for clarity. You begged for guidance. You asked God to guard your heart. And now guidance is here, not in thunder, but in a nudge. Not in a sign on the wall, but in the quiet ache in your stomach when you imagine the future too honestly. There are moments recently, you know the ones, where something felt off. You laughed it off. You excused it. You tucked it away because you wanted this to work. But every time, you felt that subtle shift inside your spirit. That is God. Not fear. Not paranoia. Not insecurity. God. He speaks through unrest. He warns through tension. He protects through hesitation. Right now, heaven is saying, don't lose yourself while trying to keep someone else. If this is meant for you, time will not destroy it. If this is meant for you, questions will not threaten it. If this is meant for you, honesty will not scare it away. What is real survives clarity. What is real survives distance. What is real survives truth. What is real survives your growth, not just your loneliness. Listen closely. If imagining the wedding feels better than imagining the marriage, that is your first answer. If the pictures look beautiful but the reality feels heavy, that is your second answer. If you feel yourself shrinking to avoid conflict, that is your third answer. God is not asking you to reject the ring. He is asking you to inspect the foundation. Stay with this message. Do not scroll. Do not run from what resonates. Something life-altering is on the brink. And beloved soul, if these words feel like they are for you, they are. Take a breath. Your clarity is coming. Before you step forward, heaven is asking you to step inward. Not to second-guess love, but to protect your soul. Not to reject commitment, but to choose alignment over attachment. There is a version of you that aches to be seen, to be understood, to be held without having to negotiate your worth. That version of you deserves more than a moment of romance. It deserves a lifetime of respect. So ask yourself, quietly. Do I feel chosen, or do I feel selected out of convenience? Do I feel celebrated, or do I feel tolerated? Do I feel like a partner, or a placeholder? The answer you fear is the answer you need. God is not warning you because nothing is there. He is warning you because not everything is there. Something is missing, and you feel it. Not enough to run, but enough to pause. Not enough to break, but enough to bend your spirit into worry. This is the kind of moment where most people look away. Where most people tell themselves, it will get better once life calms down. Where most people convince themselves that time will change what time has already revealed. But you are not here to repeat cycles. You are not here to inherit someone else's denial. You are not here to pay for clarity with heartbreak. You asked for a sign. This is it. Make no mistake, love can grow. People can heal. Relationships can transform. But transformation is a partnership, not a performance. You cannot build the future alone while someone else benefits from your labor. You cannot carry both the vision and the weight. You cannot be the only one fighting to keep the foundation from cracking. If someone is ready, they won't fear your standards. If someone is meant for you, they won't run from accountability. If someone was sent by God, they won't require you to sacrifice your peace to keep them. Listen. There is a pressure in the atmosphere around you. A subtle urgency that does not feel holy. A timeline that feels imposed, not inspired. A push toward decide now instead of discern fully. That is not God. God does not stampede you into forever. God does not corner you into commitment. God does not disguise confusion in romance. Peace is the language of heaven. Pressure is the language of insecurity. There is a difference between choosing love and surrendering to fear. There is a difference between saying yes to connection and saying yes because you are tired of waiting. Loneliness should never be the reason you say yes to someone. Silence should never be the price of peace. Validation should never be the currency of commitment. If you must abandon your voice to keep the relationship stable, the relationship is not stable. God is trying to show you the whole picture, not just the highlight reel. Not the proposal photos. Not the smiles in public. Not the romantic promises. But the day after. The ordinary mornings. The tough conversations. The unresolved wounds that will not disappear because a ring was placed on your finger. A ring does not heal what someone refuses to face. A ring does not create emotional maturity. A ring does not transform patterns. A ring does not turn potential into preparation. God does not want you blindfolded by hope. God wants you armored with truth. Right now, heaven is rearranging your clarity. The more you quiet down, the louder God becomes. The more you release the fantasy, the clearer the reality gets. You are waking up spiritually, emotionally, intuitively. You are beginning to feel the difference between love and attachment. Between chemistry and compatibility. Between longing for what could be and acknowledging what consistently is. The signs have been subtle, your spirit tightening during conversations that should feel safe. Your intuition noticing things your heart wished it didn't. Your peace shrinking in moments where love should expand. Your confidence lowering to maintain harmony. These are not coincidences. These are indicators. God is not taking something away from you. He is stopping something from taking you. And if you are thinking, but I don't want to lose them, listen carefully. You are not losing a person. You are losing the version of them you created in your mind. You are losing the fantasy you hoped would become reality. You are losing the story you narrated based on potential rather than truth. Let God replace fantasy with fulfillment. Slow down. Not to stall love, but to sanctify it. Not to reject their proposal, but to evaluate it. Not to decline the ring, but to confirm that the heart offering it is truly ready for the responsibility it represents. Because a ring is not jewelry, it is a vow. A vow is not decoration, it is weight. And weight requires strength. If their words tremble under accountability now, they will collapse under covenant later. Your future deserves more than performance. It deserves partnership. And if this message feels like it's speaking into you, not at you, then heaven is revealing what your intuition already knew but feared to admit. You are being prepared for clarity. Pause right here. Breathe. Stay with this energy. And if this message has you feeling seen, supported, awakened, yes, stay close. Your spirit is recognizing truth. Let it. Let these words keep guiding you. Because what comes next is the moment where everything shifts. If you haven't yet, quietly, without pressure, tap like, tap subscribe, anchor yourself to where clarity finds you. Not for hype, not for algorithms, but because the next line might be the one that saves you years of regret. There is something happening beneath the surface of your life right now. You can feel it in the quiet moments, before the noise of the day returns, before you talk yourself out of what your intuition already revealed. Something inside you is whispering that you are on the edge of a decision that will shape everything. And the enemy of your destiny is hoping you rush. Hoping you get swept up in the moment. Hoping impulse wins over discernment. But God is stepping in and saying, pause. I need you awake for this. Because what you are choosing is not a moment. It's a direction. What you are accepting is not a ring. It's a lifetime. What you are agreeing to is not safety. It's alignment, or misalignment. This is why the spiritual pressure feels intense. This is why your thoughts feel divided. This is why something that should feel simple suddenly feels complicated. Your soul is negotiating with your future. One part of you wants to hold on. The other part of you is trying to break free. One part of you is afraid to lose what you've waited for. The other part knows you cannot live the rest of your life afraid to speak, afraid to feel, afraid to be seen. That internal trembling you feel? That is not fear. That is truth knocking. This is the moment where most people silence themselves. This is where they swallow the signs, ignore the tension, and pretend that pressure is passion. This is where they tell themselves that love always requires pain. This is where they convince themselves that being chosen, by anyone, is better than being patient for the right one. But you are not most people. You have been prepared, broken open, rebuilt too many times to walk blindly into something that costs you the peace you bled to build. You have survived nights that nearly silenced you. You have risen out of patterns that tried to claim you. You have healed from wounds that once convinced you love was not safe. You cannot abandon that growth now. Not for a ring. Not for a fantasy. Not for someone who wants the version of you that does not ask questions. If someone is meant for your future, they will not resent your discernment. Listen to the spiritual cues. If your chest tightens more than it opens, pay attention. If you feel like you're negotiating with God instead of aligning with Him, pay attention. If you feel like you're defending this relationship more than enjoying it, pay attention. If you find yourself saying, maybe marriage will fix this, stop. It won't. Marriage does not turn a wound into a healed place. It turns it into permanent scenery. And God loves you too much to let you decorate dysfunction and call it destiny. This is not about perfection. Every human is flawed. Every relationship is imperfect. But there is a difference between imperfection you can grow within and imperfection that demands you shrink. There is a difference between learning together and being emotionally responsible for someone who refuses to learn. There is a difference between patience and self-abandonment. If your spirit has become the cost of keeping the peace, there is no peace. So imagine the future honestly, not the proposal. Not the pictures. Not the congratulations. Imagine the arguments. Imagine the responsibilities. Imagine the days when life is not romantic. Imagine the moments you need reassurance. Will you be comforted or criticized? Because if the truth is already uncomfortable now, reality will not get softer later. Rings do not erase red flags. Vows do not fix emotional abandonment. Weddings do not hide what God has already revealed. Heaven is trying to give you a future, not a performance. You don't have to run. You don't have to decide today. You don't have to say yes because you're afraid time is slipping away. God is not late. Your life is not delayed. Love is not running out. What is meant for you is not being held hostage by time. But what is not meant for you is being revealed through time. That is the difference. And here is the truth you've been afraid to speak. Your silence has been protecting their comfort more than your calling. Your tolerance has been protecting the relationship more than your heart. Your hope has been protecting the fantasy more than the reality. This is your wake-up call disguised as tenderness. This is protection dressed as hesitation. This is God getting between you and regret. Lean in. Listen. If they react poorly to your need for clarity, you have your answer. If they guilt you for asking questions, you have your answer. If they shame you for wanting peace, you have your answer. If they punish your boundaries, you have your answer. You are not asking for too much. You are asking the wrong person. And if this message feels like it is speaking straight into the room with you, like it is sitting beside you, like it is reading what you haven't said out loud yet, that's intentional. You are not here by accident. And if these words are dragging truth to the surface, don't look away. This clarity may hurt a little now, but pretending will hurt forever. You deserve a love that doesn't require you to betray yourself to receive it. You deserve a future that doesn't threaten your peace to promise you companionship. You deserve to stay whole while being chosen, not chosen because they expect you to break. If you can feel God in this, stay. Don't scroll. Don't disconnect. And if your spirit says, I needed this, then without pressure, tap like, subscribe, and anchor yourself here. Not for ego. Not for vanity. But because clarity is building and you're going to need the next words. You are standing in a spiritual doorway right now, and you can feel it. One step leads to the life you've already outgrown. The other leads to the life God has been trying to prepare you for. The enemy wants you to believe that the familiar is safer than the future. That history is more trustworthy than destiny. That what you've known is all you are allowed to experience. But heaven is interrupting that lie. God is not calling you backward. He is calling you into alignment. This is why the ring feels heavy instead of holy. This is why the proposal feels like pressure instead of peace. This is why your spirit keeps tugging at you when everyone else says, just say yes. They see the moment. You feel the weight. They see the highlight. You see the responsibility. They see the celebration. You see the covenant. And covenant is not casual. People celebrate proposals. Heaven examines foundations. You are not choosing a ring. You are choosing whether the rest of your life will rest on truth or pretending. Whether your home will be a sanctuary or a silent battlefield. Whether your future will breathe or suffocate. So before you agree to a lifetime, look at the patterns. Not the promises. Not the romantic nights. Not the moments they tried. The patterns. Patterns tell the truth that apologies hide. Patterns tell the truth that flowers distract from. Patterns tell the truth that "I'll do better" tries to bury. Because if someone can only love you correctly when they fear losing you, they are not loving you, they are negotiating with abandonment. God is not asking you to punish them with distance. He is asking you to protect yourself with clarity. You are not ungrateful for wanting peace. You are not dramatic for needing emotional safety. You are not disloyal for pausing before you commit your future to someone whose present behavior still wounds you. There is a version of you that believed love meant endurance. But the healed version of you knows love should feel like partnership. If the relationship requires you to sacrifice your voice, it is not partnership. If the relationship requires you to disappear to be tolerated, it is not partnership. If the relationship requires you to carry both sides of the emotional weight, it is not partnership. A ring doesn't change that. A wedding doesn't fix that. Vows don't erase that. Marriage magnifies what dating tried to hide. So here is the question you've avoided asking. Are you saying yes because you're ready, or because you're tired of waiting? Because God will never rush you into covenant to calm your loneliness. God will never use fear as a motivator for forever. God will never send you a blessing that feels like bargaining. True love doesn't sprint to the altar to avoid accountability. True love says, take all the time you need. I want you whole when you meet me there. If waiting destroys the connection, it was never strong enough to last. Pay attention to what happens when you pause. Do they get angry? Do they crumble? Do they threaten to leave? Do they weaponize your fear of abandonment? Or do they stay? Do they breathe? Do they listen? Do they respond with maturity, not manipulation? Your answer is in their reaction to your boundaries. You don't need dreams to tell you. You don't need signs on the wall. You don't need prophetic confirmation written in fire. You already know. Your spirit already testified. Your soul already whispered. Your peace already left the room. And God is not asking you to pretend you didn't notice. Right now, Heaven is inviting you into a higher identity. One where you are not chosen out of convenience, but out of conviction. One where you are not held because someone fears losing you, but because they cherish carrying life with you. One where you are not negotiating for the bare minimum, but receiving love that rises to meet the standard God put inside you. This is the shift. This is the unveiling. This is the moment God hands you the pen and says, write the next chapter with your eyes open. Because if saying yes costs you clarity, it is too expensive. If saying yes costs you your voice, it is too expensive. If saying yes costs you your calling, it is too expensive. The right person will not make you bankrupt yourself to feel chosen. And if your heart is beating harder right now, if your chest feels tight, if your eyes feel heavy with truth, that is confirmation. Not fear. Confirmation. You are awakening. You are rising. You are remembering yourself. If this has been opening your eyes, gently tap like. Tap subscribe. Anchor yourself here. You're not doing it for a channel. You're doing it for the future version of you who will look back and say, thank God I listened. Take a breath. The final part is coming. What waits on the other side of obedience is bigger than what you fear losing. Now take a moment. Let your heart settle. Because what I am about to say is not meant to scare you, it is meant to free you. You have been standing at the edge of a decision that feels like life or death. But the moment you stop letting fear negotiate for you, your clarity returns. The moment you stop bargaining with loneliness, your power returns. The moment you stop confusing emotional intensity for divine instruction, your discernment returns. If this person is truly part of your destiny, the truth will not break the connection. The pause will not ruin it. The questions will not destroy it. If the relationship crumbles because you asked for time, then the proposal was a performance, not a partnership. God does not give you promises that require you to betray your intuition to keep them. That uneasy feeling you've been trying to pray away is not an attack. It's instruction. That tension in your chest is not fear. It's clarity knocking. That voice whispering, wait, look again, is not doubt. It's discernment. Discernment is not the enemy of love. Discernment is the protector of love. Now picture this with honesty, you accept the ring without clarity. Days pass. Weeks pass. The ceremony is beautiful, but your soul is trembling. The house is full, but the silence grows heavier. The bed is warm, but you feel alone. The world congratulates you, but your spirit says, this is not where I belong. That is not a future God wants for you. Because God sees the pain you haven't lived yet, and He is trying to save you from it now. If this is meant for you, the truth will guide you closer, not push you away. If this is meant for you, the pressure will fall off, not increase. If this is meant for you, your peace will grow, not die slowly. Right now, God is more interested in your alignment than your announcement. More concerned with your foundation than your photographs. More invested in who walks with you than who stands beside you for a moment. This is where courage enters. Courage is not walking away blindly. Courage is saying, I will not abandon myself to keep what is unsure. Courage is saying, I need clarity before covenant. Courage is saying, if you truly choose me, you will choose patience too. And the person who is meant for you, the one God approves, will not be offended by that. They will not be threatened by your spiritual maturity. They will not treat your boundaries like rejection. They will not need you to sacrifice your peace to prove your devotion. They will pause with you. They will breathe with you. They will stand with you, not against you. The right person does not rush destiny. The right person respects it. Now hear this truth clearly, you are not late. You are not behind. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Some people are called into marriage quickly. Others are called into understanding first. You are the latter. God is shaping you into someone who will not confuse attention for love, proximity for partnership, or urgency for confirmation. You are being refined so you will recognize real when it arrives. And when it does arrive, listen to me, it will not suffocate you. It will not silence you. It will not demand your anxiety as payment. It will not leave you questioning what you did wrong. The love that comes from God will feel like exhaling after years of trying to hold your breath underwater. It will feel like coming home to a place built without conditions. So ask yourself right now, with holy honesty. Does this ring feel like an answer, or a distraction? Does this proposal feel like peace, or pressure? Do I feel chosen, or cornered? Because the question is not, do they want you? The real question is, are they ready to carry what loving you requires? And if your spirit hesitates before answering, wait. Just wait. If you need more time, say it. If you need clarity, request it. If you need healing, pursue it. If you need God to confirm, be still. The right person will not punish your process. And if they walk away because you chose wisdom, let them. That is not rejection. That is redirection. That is God removing what could not walk the distance with you. Now breathe. Let the fear unclench. Because what comes after obedience is not emptiness, it is elevation. God is preparing a relationship that does not pull you away from yourself, but brings you home to who you were created to be. Something more aligned. Something more certain. Something more spiritual. Something that does not need to be begged for, explained, defended, or survived. This may be the end of a chapter, but it is the beginning of your clarity. If your heart feels lighter, if your chest feels softer, if your eyes burn with the sting of realization, that is God, not coincidence. Stay with Him. And if this message reached you today in a way nothing else has, gently tap like, tap subscribe, and stay connected. Not for me. For the version of you who will look back and whisper, this was the moment everything changed. Because something huge isn't just waiting for you anymore. It has already begun.